there is something almost mythical about growing your own corn. Tall golden stalks swaying in the summer breeze, silk tassels catching the morning light, and that unforgettable moment when you pull back the husk to reveal a perfectly formed ear of sweet corn, plump, golden, and bursting with flavor that no grocery store on earth can replicate. If you have ever wanted to grow corn in your own backyard, but thought it was too complicated, too space-demanding, or just too much for a beginner, this guide is going to change your mind completely. Corn is one of the most rewarding vegetables any American home gardener can grow, and with the right knowledge guiding you from the start, it is far more manageable than most beginners imagine. Whether you have a large suburban backyard, a generous community garden plot, or even a roomy raised bed, this step-by-step guide covers everything you need to know to grow corn successfully. From choosing your variety to harvesting your first perfect ear. Let us get started. The first thing every beginner needs to understand about corn is that it is a heavy feeder, a sun worshiper, and a wind pollinator. And each of those three facts shapes everything about how you grow it. Corn does not pollinate itself the way most vegetables do. Instead, the pollen falls from the tassels at the very top of each corn stalk and must travel by wind down to the silks, emerging from the developing ears lower on the plant. Each individual silk strand connects to a single kernel inside the ear, meaning that if a silk does not receive pollen, that kernel will not develop. This is why corn must always be planted in blocks rather than single rows. A block planting arrangement, at least 4 rows wide, planted in a square or rectangle, ensures that wind carries pollen from one plant to its neighbors efficiently, and that every ear fills out completely with kernels. If you plant corn in a single long row, you will almost certainly end up with poorly pollinated, partially filled ears that are frustrating and disappointing. Plant in blocks, always, and your corn will thank you with full, beautiful ears. There are several distinct types of corn that a home gardener in the United States might choose to grow, and selecting the right one for your goals is an important first step. Sweet corn is by far the most popular choice for home gardens because it is bred specifically for eating fresh, off the cob, creamed, roasted, or grilled, and it has a high natural sugar content that makes it delicious straight from the garden. Within sweet corn, there are standard sweet varieties, sugar-enhanced varieties, and super sweet varieties, each offering different levels of sweetness and different shelf lives after harvest. Popcorn is another excellent choice for beginner home gardeners. It is extremely easy to grow, highly productive, and the harvest can be dried and stored for months, making it a wonderful long-term project. Flour corn and flint corn are grown for grinding into cornmeal and are particularly popular with gardeners interested in heritage varieties and traditional food preservation. Ornamental corn, sometimes called Indian corn, is grown primarily for decoration and features stunning multicolored kernels in shades of red, blue, purple, white, and yellow. For most beginners across the USA who simply want to grow the best-tasting corn of their lives, a sugar-enhanced sweet corn variety is the ideal starting point. Best light and temperature for growing corn is one of the most sun-hungry crops in the entire vegetable kingdom. It requires an absolute minimum of 8 hours of direct sunlight per day, and 10 to 12 hours is even better. Corn is not a plant that tolerates shade gracefully. Even partial shading will significantly reduce yields, slow growth, and produce smaller, less well-developed ears. Before choosing your corn planting location, spend a few days observing which parts of your yard receive unobstructed sunlight from morning through late afternoon, and reserve the sunniest possible spot for your corn block. Remember that corn stalks can grow anywhere from 5 to 12 feet tall, depending on the variety. So also consider where your corn block's shadow will fall as the plants grows. You do not want your towering corn stalks shading out shorter neighboring plants. Temperature management is absolutely critical for successful corn production. Corn is a warm season crop that is extremely sensitive to frost and cold soil, and getting your planting timing right is one of the most important decisions you will make as a corn grower. The soil temperature at planting depth must be at least 60 degrees Fahrenheit for corn seeds to germinate reliably. below 55 degrees, corn seeds will germinate poorly, rot in the ground, or produce weak stunted seedlings that never fully recover. Most American home gardeners should plan to plant corn outdoors between 2 and 3 weeks after their last average frost date, when soil temperatures have reliably warmed. In the Deep South, states like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, corn can often be planted as early as late February or March. In the Midwest and Northeast, planting typically falls between late April and mid-May. In cooler northern states like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Maine, late May or even early June may be necessary to ensure consistently warm soil. For germination, corn seeds thrive at soil temperatures between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. For growing and producing, the ideal air temperature range is between 60 and 95 degrees Fahrenheit during the day, with nights no cooler than 50 degrees. At temperatures above 95 degrees, corn plants can experience heat stress, and the silks, which are critical for pollination, can dry out too quickly before receiving adequate pollen, leading to poorly filled ears. In regions that experience extreme summer heat, choosing a heat-tolerant variety and ensuring your corn receives consistent deep watering during hot spells can make a significant difference in yield quality. Correct watering routine for healthy corn, roots of all the vegetables in the American home garden, corn is one of the thirstiest. Its rapid vertical growth, heavy nutrient demands, and large leaf surface area all create a significant need for consistent moisture throughout the growing season. Getting your corn watering routine right from the very beginning is one of the most important factors separating a bumper harvest from a disappointing one. During the germination and early seedling stage, keep the soil consistently moist but never waterlogged. Light, frequent watering in the first 2 weeks after planting helps ensure even germination across your entire corn block. Once your corn seedlings are established and growing vigorously, typically when they reach 8 to 10 inches in height, transition to deeper, less frequent watering. Deep watering encourages corn roots to grow downward into the soil, rather than staying near the surface, which makes the plants far more resilient during dry spells, and gives them access to a larger reservoir of water and nutrients. Aim to provide your corn with at least 1 to 1.5 inches of water per week, and increase this to 1.5 to 2 inches. During periods of extreme summer heat, there are 2 growth stages where water is especially critical for corn, and where any moisture stress can cause significant irreversible yield loss. The first is the tasseling and silking stage, when corn plants produce their pollen tassels at the top, and silks begin emerging from developing ears. This is the pollination window, and dry, drought-stressed silks can wither before they have a chance to receive pollen, resulting in poor kernel set. The second critical period is the ear-filling stage, roughly 3 to 4 weeks after pollination, when individual kernels are swelling with starch and sugars. Insufficient water during earfill leads to small, shrunken kernels and poorly developed cobs. Check your soil moisture regularly during these 2 stages, and water deeply and consistently to protect your crop. The best watering technique for corn is deep, infrequent watering rather than light daily sprinkling. Use a soaker hose weaved through your corn block, a drip irrigation line running along each row, or a garden hose set to a gentle flow directed at the base of your plants. Avoid overhead watering whenever possible, particularly during tasseling and silking, as wet tassels can clump and release pollen less effectively. Watering in the early morning is always the best practice. The soil has all day to absorb moisture, surface evaporation is minimized, and any foliage that does get wet will dry quickly in the morning sun. Applying a 2 to 3 inch layer of straw, wood chip, or grass clipping mulch around the base of your corn stalks dramatically reduces soil moisture evaporation and keeps roots cool and consistently moist between watering sessions. Fertilizing corn for lush, productive growth. Corn is one of the heaviest feeding vegetables you can grow, and feeding it correctly is the key to those thick stalks, lush foliage, and perfectly filled ears that make homegrown corn so spectacular. Nitrogen is the single most important nutrient for corn. It drives the rapid vegetative growth that produces tall, vigorous stalks and large healthy leaves, and it directly influences the development of ears. A nitrogen deficiency in corn shows up as yellowing starting at the leaf tips and working down the midrib, a condition called nitrogen deficiency chlorosis, and it can severely limit your harvest if not corrected quickly. Begin your corn fertilizing program before you ever plant a single seed by preparing your soil thoroughly. Work in 2 to 3 inches of aged compost or well-rotted manure into the top 8 to 10 inches of soil across your entire corn planting block. This initial organic matter improves soil structure, drainage, and water holding capacity, while also providing a baseline of slow-release nutrients. If your soil is nutrient poor or has not been amended in several years, a pre-plant application of a balanced granular fertilizer, such as a 10-10-10 formulation, worked in at the rate recommended on the package, provides an excellent starting foundation. Once your corn is actively growing, it will need supplemental nitrogen feeding at 2 key stages. The first is when your corn seedlings reach approximately 6 to 8 inches tall. At this point, apply a side dressing of a high nitrogen fertilizer along both sides of each row, keeping it about 4 to 6 inches away from the plant stems to avoid fertilizer burn. Work it lightly into the surface soil and water it in thoroughly. A second side dressing of nitrogen should be applied when the corn plants show the first signs of tasselings, when you can see the tassel beginning to emerge from the top of the plant. This second feeding supports the energy demands of ear development and kernel fill. Slow-release organic options like blood meal, fish meal, or composted chicken manure are excellent nitrogen sources for organic growers, while conventional gardeners may prefer ammonium nitrate or urea-based granular fertilizers for speed and precision. In addition to nitrogen, corn benefits from adequate phosphorus for strong root development and potassium for stalk strength and disease resistance. A balanced fertilizer program that addresses all 3 macronutrients will produce the most vigorous and productive corn plants. Pruning, suckering, and managing corn for maximum yields. Corn does not require pruning in the traditional sense, but there are several management practices that significantly affect yield and plant health. One of the most common questions beginner corn growers ask is whether to remove the suckers, also called tillers, that often emerge from the base of corn stalks. Suckers are side shoots that grow up from the crown of the plant near ground level, and many older gardening guides recommended removing them to direct all the plant's energy into the main stalk. However, modern research consistently shows that removing suckers from corn does not improve yields and may actually reduce them slightly by cutting off photosynthetics capacity. Leave the suckers in place and let the plant manage itself. What does matter enormously for corn yield is ensuring that every plant in your block has adequate space. Corn should be planted at a final spacing of 9 to 12 inches between plants within each row, with rows spaced 30 to 36 inches apart. Crowding corn plants leads to competition for light, water, and nutrients, resulting in smaller ears, reduced kernel fill, and increased disease pressure. Thinning is an important and often skipped step. After germination, if you planted seeds closer than your target spacing, go through and thin to one plant every 9 to 12 inches by snipping the extras off at soil level, rather than pulling, which avoids disturbing neighboring roots. Hand pollination is another management technique that can dramatically improve ear fill in small garden corn blocks, where natural wind pollination may be insufficient. When your corn reaches the tasseling and silking stage, you can shake pollen directly from the tassels into a paper bag each morning, and then pour that collected pollen over the silks of adjacent plants. This manual pollination technique ensures excellent kernel set even in calm weather, or in smaller plots, where the block may not be quite large enough for reliable wind pollination alone. Common corn problems and easy solutions. Even experienced corn growers encounter challenges, and knowing how to identify and solve the most common problems is what separates a great harvest from a failed one. The most frequent issues American home corn growers face include corn earworms, raccoon damage, poor pollination, smut disease, and common rust. And every single one of these problems has a practical, beginner-accessible solution. Corn earworms are the single most spread pest of sweet corn across the entire United States. The adult moth lays eggs directly on corn silks, and the larvae burrow down the silk channel into the developing ear, where they feed on kernels and leave behind their droppings. The most effective organic prevention for corn earworms is applying a few drops of vegetable oil or mineral oil, mixed with a small amount of Bacillus thuringiensis, a naturally occurring soil bacterium sold as BT, directly into the silk channel of each ear using a small dropper or squeeze bottle. This application is done when the silks have fully emerged and begins to brown, and repeated every few days through the pollination window. The oil suffocates early instar larvae while the BT kills any that escape the oil, keeping your garden clear of dropped plant debris after harvest. Also reduces overwintering populations of earworm moths. Raccoons are arguably the most frustrating corn predator for American home gardeners, and they have an uncanny ability to detect exactly when sweet corn is at peak ripeness, often hitting gardens the very night before you plan to harvest. Physical barriers are the most effective raccoon deterrent. A temporary electric fence set up around your corn block with 2 strands, one at 6 inches and one at 12 inches above ground, is highly effective and can be set up inexpensively. Alternatively, motion-activated lights or sprinklers surrounding your corn plot will often deter raccoons who prefer to work under cover of undisturbed darkness. Corn smut is a fungal disease that causes distinctive gray-white galls to form on developing ears and other plant parts. These galls eventually rupture and release black powdery spores. While corn smut can look alarming, it is not dangerous to humans. In fact, in Mexico it is considered a culinary delicacy called huitlacoche. For home gardeners who want to prevent smut, choose smut-resistant varieties, avoid injuring plants during cultivation or cultivation activities that create entry points for the fungus, and remove and dispose of smut galls before they rupture to reduce spore spread in future seasons. Common rust appears as reddish-brown, powdery pustules on corn leaves and can spread rapidly in cool, wet weather. Choosing rust-resistant varieties and ensuring good airflow through your corn block by maintaining proper plant spacing are the most effective preventive strategies. In severe cases, a sulfur-based fungicide applied early in the rust cycle can slow its spread. Poor pollination is a problem that manifests as ears with large gaps of missing kernels, rows of kernel-less cob, visible when you pull back the husk. As discussed earlier, always plant corn in blocks rather than rows, supplement with hand pollination during calm weather, and ensure your watering keeps silks moist and receptive during the pollination window. Nutrient deficiencies, particularly nitrogen deficiency showing as yellowing leaves, can also severely impact ear development. Address deficiencies as soon as they appear with a fast-acting nitrogen source, like fish emulsion or ammonium nitrate side dressing, and your plants will typically recover and continue producing. There is absolutely nothing in the gardening world quite like growing your own corn. From the moment those first seeds crack open in warm spring soil, to the day you pull back a husk and reveal a perfect golden ear grown by your own hands in your own yard, corn growing is a deeply rewarding, deeply American experience. You now have everything you need to get started. The right variety selection, the planting timing, the light and temperature knowledge, the watering and fertilizing strategy, the management techniques, and the problem-solving tools. The only thing left to do is pick up a packet of seeds. Begin plant in blocks. Water deeply, feed generously. Watch those magnificent stalks reach for the sky, and on that warm summer evening when you carry your first harvest basket inside, and cook those ears within minutes of picking, tasting sweetness that no grocery store can touch, you will know exactly why homegrown corn is worth every single drop of effort. Your garden is ready. Your season is waiting. Plant your corn today. If you love learning about seasonal flowering plants, gardening tips, and nature care, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Nature Nurture Hub, your home for year-round garden inspiration. Let's keep growing together.